Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. It's Ask Steve and Larson. That's right, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It means y'all get to ask the questions. And when I say y'all, I mean the people giving us the money at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. And by clicking join over on the YouTube. That's right, we put up the Wednesday question threads on Tuesdays for those two groups of people. Larson's got a question. You're first. What's your first question?
For YouTube channel members and patrons, especially $5 and up patrons, what can they do this weekend, Steve?
It's time for the May Predictions Challenge. That's right. It's Weekend of Champions. We're crowning the new inaugural Big Blue Predictions Champion. That's right. Of course, our beautiful, beautiful friend, the Enforcer, is the final Big Red Predictions Champion. And he is now the forever Big Red Predictions Champion. So we are creating the new Big Blue Predictions Championship. And yeah, the form, thanks to Cody Miles, is almost ready. We're just going to collaborate on some prop bets, and it'll be going out ASAP, and it'll be due Saturday morning because it's one big glob of predictions, including NXT Battlegrounds, the other one, AEW's Double or Nothing, live from Vegas at half capacity, and, of course, WWE's Night of Champions Saturday afternoon or
Yes.
morning for us. It's the McGriddles.
Yeah, morning for us. Yes.
Yeah.
The McGriddle stream. Yes.
Right, exactly. So if you want to participate again, patreon.com/Stephen Larson or click and join over there at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Our predictions for Night of Champions is available right now over at our other channel, Friendo Club Wrestling. So be sure to check that out. Our AEW Double or Nothing predictions will be available, I think, tomorrow morning, because we're going to do that tonight. We're going to record that tonight after AEW. So be on the lookout for that as well. Speaking of AEW, of course, news came through the wire. More Phil news. We haven't gotten our fill of Phil news, Larson. CM Punk return, I mean, reportedly confirmed, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. Yesterday, Fightful Select had a report about there was a rumor going around that Punk had some legal papers, some legal forms sent his way. And Fightful Select was told that those forms, those legal documents, were sent and signed by Punk this week. Apparently, they were papers covering areas that need to be covered in advance of Phil's return. As Fightful Select notes here, disparagement clauses ensuring that Phil appears, scheduled TV dates, as Fightful Select here puts it, largely protect AEW in several situations. So, and then today, I saw that Brian Alvarez tweeted something like, looks like we're ready for liftoff. And then Ryan Frederick, contributor to the Wrestling Observer, I think he handles their MMA coverage, also occasionally shares news, if you will, on the Wrestling Observer message board. Said the following: I can't speak for Brian because I don't know what info he's been given, and there's definitely been a lot of different info being passed around with this whole thing. I can only say that based on what I was told at midnight Eastern, Punk is a go for Collision, that he signed an NDA pertaining to Brawl Out, which was described as necessary for him to return, but also a difficult negotiation. We knew he had to do it, and there's a lot of people he doesn't want to let down, and a couple other legal documents that were also necessary for him to return that protects AEW in case of another bad situation. There's one thing I'll keep quiet on because it's nothing major, but this whole thing is basically now him playing ball because he says he loves AEW and wants to help the company grow. And he knows what will happen if there's another big issue. So keep in mind, Ryan Frederick, some of his past scoops didn't really pan out.
Yep.
So just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But, with Fightful Select saying legal documents, Alvarez saying good to, ready for liftoff, Frederick saying apparently good to go. I think even Steven Muehlhausen last night posted a GIF of CM Punk saying I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people across the wrestling space who have reported information saying
because everybody except for Fightful you've mentioned, was it just Muehlhausen, the Saudi WWE deal guy? No, it does seem there seems to be a general consensus across wrestling media, across wrestling journalism, whatever, that CM Punk is returning will be available at that first Collision, and that the paperwork involves shut up, don't do the media scrum stuff where you go off on the company, don't disparage us anymore because we're giving you a big old paycheck.
Yep.
Which is a smart move on AEW's part.
Yes.
And so it seems like that's going to be the case. Feels like they're probably going to be able to announce the United Center tonight as being the thing. I wonder if they're going to go as far as to dub it the Second Coming still.
Maybe.
So the first question today is from Steve here to Larson. Larson.
Yes.
Because, of course, I have clicked join. Not only have I clicked join, I've also become a patron at patreon.com, Steven Larson. My question for you is best case, worst case, most likely case, go.
Best case, they get a good 3 years out of Phil Brooks, being top guy on Collision. Doesn't get himself in trouble, doesn't get hurt, keep him out of the top title picture. He's there to work with talent they want to help get over. And he does help talent get over. By that, I mean he loses to them. He doesn't lose every match, but he has to lose enough that people benefit from being in feud with him.
He's got to lose big matches to talent that's going to be around for the next decade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Worst case, this whole thing blows up in the next 3 weeks, and whatever NDA he signed, he just talks all sorts of crap, and this is off. He goes to Instagram and just blasts AEW off, completely off.
Yeah.
Most likely, he'll wrestle maybe monthly. He'll be on every episode.
Yeah, right.
He'll wrestle maybe monthly. The rumored first feud for him is Samoa Joe. I'd expect that to happen because that's one of the few feuds that Punk could be in right now that would help me to forget about Brawl Out because I like Joe so much. And I feel like having him feud with Joe is a great way for maybe a lot of people to be like, oh, well, it's Joe. This is going to be awesome because Joe is that good.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
He'll feud with Joe. I would be pretty surprised if over the fall he's not feuding with MJF for the title again. I wouldn't expect him to win it because if they put that title back on him, they're just asking for something to fall apart. Because the last 2 times he's won the title, what happened? He's got hurt.
Yeah, okay. I hate to be that guy, but it's not like winning the title was the reason he got.
Oh, I know. But given, especially now that he's super huge,
puts them in a bind for sure.
It does. And if he can go a year and not get injured, then if Tony Khan thinks there's a benefit to the business to put the belt back on him, then okay, that's his decision. Yeah. But I think for the next year or so, you got to be really cautious putting the belt back on him, just given his recent injury history. Now, I'm not saying you put the belt on him, magically he gets hurt. It's not I wasn't trying to say that, but just over the last year, he's had 2 significant injuries that cost him a good amount of time that led to some weird stuff happening in the title picture.
Yeah.
And to avoid that, wait till he can show that he can wrestle for a while. Wrestle a schedule that helps him stay healthy.
Yeah.
And if he can accomplish that for a year, 8 months, whatever, then okay. If Tony Khan wants to do that, it makes business sense, fine. But until then, you want to put an international title on him, fine, but not the AEW title. No way.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know Punk's philosophy in terms of what he needs to keep his body from breaking down. Dustin Rhodes relatively recently said, I need more reps in order for my body not to feel like crap all the time. Yeah. And maybe Punk feels like, hey, I need to be the guy who's wrestling, I don't know, 3 times a month in order for, my body to not rust and be, less injury prone. But if he takes on an MJF schedule, who's like a young guy who's currently their champion, a Roman Reigns schedule where you don't have to wrestle a lot, but you're always involved in stories, then I think it wouldn't shock me. Look, if he comes back in AEW, if Dynamite starts, getting, I guess starts doing, if the business is noticeably helped by CM Punk, whatever that means, attendance, ratings, the demographic, merch, whatever it is, where it's obvious that he is back in the position that Tony Khan saw him in before. I could see Tony Khan, because Tony, I don't know, I feel like Tony's the kind of guy who's like, hey, it's good now. Let's go ahead and put the belt on him and let the chips fall where they may. Strike while the iron is hot. I could see him doing that. I could see CM Punk being champion too,
but you have to wonder how much Punk's initial injury after he won the title, and then the injury plus fallout from Brawl Out really affected Tony Khan's creative plans second half of last year, when creative was not good.
Yeah.
And scrambling to find stories to tell when so much of probably what he had planned with Punk, with the Elite, was off the table.
Yeah.
And it's when your champ twice within a year gets hurt. I mean, it's hard to build your A stories, your title stories around him if there's always a prospect. I know injuries happen in wrestling all the time, but you can only go by recent history.
Yeah.
That it's hard to build stories around your world champion if there's a concern that he could get hurt here.
Yeah,
that's why I say I don't mean Tony Khan's business and to run it how he wants, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know how much wrestling promoters in general worry about, or like Tony Khan worries about that stuff. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it really will. I have no idea. Either he's going to be like, oh man, this guy, my company would benefit even more by giving him the world title, or I should be more cognizant of the age and what his body can give us. It'll be interesting to see what philosophy Tony Khan takes on that. I simply don't know.
I don't know either.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Interesting stuff. What's the first question we have from the Friendos?
Well, the first question we have from the Friendos, in a lot of ways, I think, would be possible worst case scenario for Punk returning, in that he doesn't even make it to the first episode of Collision. Because Mayor Planet Houston here asked, if CM Punk isn't on Collision, what would they need to do to make it successful?
So what if the negotiations fall apart between now and the 17th?
Or he gets hurt. He's working out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's doing some lat pull downs, rips a lat muscle.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's out for 6 months, more months. You got tepid ticket sales as is for Collision. If the word gets out, which apparently is that Punk is returning, and then it falls through, what do they do to make it successful, Steve?
Oh man, you gotta. There's none of the things that AEW has been able to fall back on to boost their profile, to boost their ratings, are really. I'm talking about basically signing names that are known from WWE to come over there. Now we know that Drew McIntyre's contract is coming up, but that's like sort of towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so early next year maybe. So yeah,
right. Yeah. So I would be kind of surprised if WWE didn't lock him down. So I don't know. Like, just the sort of telling good stories thing is too much of an ask. What they're gonna all of a sudden? Oh, hey, here's an idea. Maybe if we write some compelling stories, it'll be good. Well, of course, they're trying to do that now, so that's not something they can sort of just, push a button and that happens. I don't know. I mean, they need to capitalize off of what they've got going now. That's good. Right now, that's good. It's the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club. So you create some sort of, spillover, like you sort of ditch the idea of the brand split. If Punk's not going to be there, no reason why the Elite can't be and the Blackpool Combat Club can't be on Collision. And so you try to build whatever big match they have coming up, you build that for Collision, and you roll with whatever's hot, you put it over on Collision, and you just sort of double up that story on Dynamite as well. That's what you do. You roll with the hot hand.
That is 1,000% correct. Thank you for the raid, Cultaholic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you ditch the idea of the brand split. As you put it, you roll with the hot hand, and that's the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club. You have them. It doesn't have to be both shows each week, but you have them work both shows. They're on Collision one week, Dynamite the next. That, and then if they think there's more mileage out of this JAS Adam Cole thing, you do that too.
Yeah.
Those are the two stories I think you lean on to provide some excitement for Collision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, there's nothing else they can do. Like, it's not like there are free agents right now that are available that they can come in, bring them in, and then, spotlight them in a way that's like, oh my God, this is so shocking. They have the New Japan sort of is a little bit on the dry side. Like, they're going to do the Forbidden Door. I'm sure there'll be some really good matches, but that's not what's going to get your ratings up any higher. That's not going to do anything because you've already exhausted that.
Well, I think also last year when they did the build to Forbidden Door 1, it wasn't like it was a huge ratings gain from it either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So next we got a question here from Wyatt. Asked, with rumors of Gunther and Cody possibly main eventing Mania 40, do you think there is a slight shot the Intercontinental title can main event WrestleMania?
So this is a rumor from, I think, a Worked Wrestling account. Yeah. I don't believe it because I don't think that they really have any idea that what their positions are going to be by WrestleMania 40. I don't think there's any indication that they actually do plan out that far ahead, unless it's like Rock Roman or something like that.
Yeah.
But let's say for the sake of the question, let's say that it is true. Let's say they're planning for Gunther Cody. What's the question? What are they saying?
Could the Intercontinental title main event WrestleMania?
No. No. That would be for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
That wouldn't be for the Intercontinental Championship.
I mean, if they're thinking, all right, what are some contingency plans or all the other ideas that we could roll with for WrestleMania in the event that we don't want to do Roman Cody again, or if Roman Rock doesn't happen?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Let's brainstorm some match ideas. What about Gunther and Cody? Two huge names. Could be our Raw main event because they're both on Raw for now. Mm-hmm, let's roll with that. All right. I could see that kind of conversation as opposed to, hey, we're going to pencil this in as a main event of night one for WrestleMania, I'll
be honest. I really hope that there is, and I think Worked Wrestling has built up enough of a reputation to understand that they do have some people there that they talk to, or a person or whatever. And it's the thing that I take away from this is that there is a contingent clearly, and Vince McMahon is fine with it. Gunther being in a top spot.
Yeah.
The worry was when Vince came back at WrestleMania, around WrestleMania, that, Gunther's in trouble because Vince McMahon, we had heard, wasn't a big Gunther fan. Well, whatever it is, has been proven to Vince that Gunther's the man. And us being a huge fan of Gunther, the ring general, that's really good. I'm really happy about that. And the idea that he could take one of the main event slots at WrestleMania, I think is a fantastic one. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. I think he's going to move up by then. Yeah.
I mean, if the rumor getting out there was Seth versus Gunther main event one of the nights of WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, it's like, yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could still see it being Cody. Why do you think that there's some cold water on that one? Because you think that Cody Roman is the thing?
I would think that would be the default at this point. Mm-hmm. If they're going to aim at this juncture for any match at WrestleMania, that's assuming they want Roman to lose the belts at WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or want Cody to beat him next year, which that cannot be the case. It's entirely possible they can have Gunther Cody main event one of the nights of WrestleMania and have Roman retain his titles in main event night 2, and they're pushing on Cody or whoever beating Roman down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever they think they are ready to do it, which I don't know when that would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I think if they have any idea of having Roman lose at WrestleMania 40, Cody makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cody finishing his story makes the most sense. If it's Roman Rock at WrestleMania 40, Roman ain't losing that.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let's assume this is right. And they're like, okay, we're looking at Cody, Gunther. What would that tell you about Roman? If that's true, what would that tell you about
he ain't
Roman?
Losing.
No, but who would his opponent be?
Oh,
Seth talks about him a lot. If there's any way that they would have Seth lose the World Heavyweight Championship, maybe to Gunther, Seth wins the Rumble, and then they do Seth Roman at WrestleMania.
Yeah, then with Seth Roman, then Roman finally gets his win over Seth.
Yeah. Depending on I don't know what the win situation there would be. They're having Seth talk about Roman so much. I think they have it in their heads that Seth could totally be the guy to beat Roman. But again, I think they're building up both those guys fairly effectively, to be honest with you, to potentially be that guy.
Yeah. That's a possibility. That is a possibility.
I mean, long term, Seth Roman really is the thing. Long term, it really is. I mean, this whole tribal chief character is literally because Seth betrayed him.
Yeah.
It'll be 10 years because it was 2014. It was 2014.
It was what, June 2014?
I mean, dude, talk about long-term booking right there.
Yeah.
Stumbling into your long-term booking.
Yeah, I know.
Seth, but then, doesn't the story necessitate like Roman beating Seth at that point because Seth betrayed him?
Yeah, and Roman has never beat Seth. Never beat him.
I think he has.
Well,
just not on a big stage.
No, I thought he had.
Because I remember us talking about that before, and then I looked back like through the years of their actual one-on-one matches, and I swear there was a couple like there was like a Raw episode where he did. I don't know what the circumstances was, but
I thought that's one of those things they kept on pushing out there. Maybe they never beat him for a title bout or something like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe it was like a big deal. I don't know. If you want, I know you. If you want to fact check that, go ahead. Get on Cage Match while I read the next question. Let's see here. Oh, actually, can you hold on the fact checking?
Yes, I will.
We do have to pay some bills, Larson. All right, here we go.
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
So, do you remember years ago when you drove by me right after I got in a traffic accident?
It was like 96, 97. It was a long time ago.
Something like that. Someone turned right in front of me and just bam, accident happened.
Yeah. No, I remember that. You were just standing by the road with your arms crossed, and I literally just drove by. I yelled out my window. I said, "Larson!" I make sure that it was you and not some weird doppelganger.
Yeah, and I think I shrugged at you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's basically how I remember it as well. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and insurance covered the damage. But the point is that accidents can happen, and you can be injured because of those accidents when you least expect it. And if you're ever injured, you could check out America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has a proven record of getting their clients full and fair compensation. They've recovered more than $15 billion for their clients.
That's right. Morgan & Morgan has over 100 offices nationwide, and you can submit your claim in 8 clicks or less. It's more like ordering takeout than hiring a lawyer, and you could do it without getting off your couch. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/raw or dial #LAW. That's #529 from your cell phone.
That's forthepeople.com/raw or #LAW, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
All right, so you go ahead and keep on checking that Seth Roman record there. And I'll move on with, we've actually just answered this question from Deep Voice Dude. He said, if Cody versus Gunther happens at Mania, who would Roman face? He says, I feel like it'd be Seth Rollins or somebody not currently in WWE. That is the other option, too, is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. CM Punk wins the Universal Championship off of Roman Reigns. I think there's a possibility, Larson. I think that could happen.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. No, CM Punk. No, not happening.
Dark Meme Center X says, how would you revitalize the women's division to have quality storylines and title feuds that are less predictable from an outcome standpoint? Great question. I'm assuming he means WWE because like their women's division is really hit or miss with how they handle it. They've got all the ingredients there. But I'd sort of mention again, writing good stories isn't really a press button for good story situation. You have to really work on it and give it the full attention to detail and effort that they're giving to, for example, Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus, which has actually been a pretty decent build. I think that they should try to construct something that's a bit more all-encompassing, though.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday on the show, how, like, for example, over on Dynamite, AEW has, like, the Outcast story, which brings in a bunch of different stuff, whereas the men in WWE, the Bloodline sort of encompasses a lot of different stuff. You got the Bloodline, and they were able to rope in, obviously, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. You were able to rope in Judgment Day. You're able to rope in Imperium. And I feel like if they can craft some sort of story like that, for the women's division, I think that'd be really strong. I mean, I don't know why they don't introduce factions for the women as opposed to factions of largely men, and then you put in one woman like they did with Judgment Day, and has sort of been the thing going back a ways now. But yeah, I don't know. You've got a lot of people on your roster. Have them faction up a little bit. That's what we got. Damage Control, perfect example of a faction. I don't know why they didn't do more of that. And you can tell larger stories that you rope in and weave in other people, and they just don't do that. And I feel like if they did that, you start with that basic premise, and then you go from there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've seen in WWE and other promotions that you have people start factions. It's an avenue by which you get more people on television on a regular basis. And not only can you tell the stories of factions feuding, you can tell stories of the tensions within the factions themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just a different dynamic. And it's interesting, as you mentioned, that's something they seem to employ far more in the men's division than the women's division.
Yeah.
And even with Damage Control, it seemed like there was a lot of instances where they could have done a lot more with them, and tell more stories with them. And for whatever reason, it just never really panned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even just right now, just even dedicating more TV time, giving the storylines they have time in terms of the matches and segments would go far in terms of helping it. Yeah, for this, outside of the Becky and Trish segment on Raw, I think there was 2 women's matches, a total of like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Over a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Completely
you had
unacceptable.
so many recaps of Cody Brock, it's like, I get it. That's the A story. That's your big deal story. I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's like you can ease up on some of those and add some time to the Zoe Stark match and add some time to the what was it? Raquel Rodriguez, Sonya Deville. Was that the match?
Yeah.
No, what was the other? Was that the other match? Okay.
And then it was, Zoe Stark and Candice LeRae was the other match.
Yeah. Add some more time to that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just a matter of just make it a priority. That you can hit the button on that one. Yeah. Make it a priority.
Yep.
What does that mean? All right, let's go ahead and get some writers on this, and let's craft some actual stories as opposed to some very like cookie cutter stuff that they do right now. So yeah, just give it time, give it effort.
Make it a priority. Make it a priority. You see in NXT,
yeah,
where a good portion of the show is dedicated to all the divisions. Like it's NXT and Impact do such a great job of giving roughly equal amount of time to all their divisions.
Right. Yeah.
It feels like everything's a priority.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that. I want to see it more in WWE and in AEW. It'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Got a couple super chats here. Luisa Reza says, what if Jericho reveals himself as the second coming? Because when he came back to WWE, he had that written all over his Tron, then have Phil come back.
Oh.
That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever.
According to Cage Match here, in 2017, Roman Reigns did defeat Seth Rollins on an episode of Monday Night Raw in 18 minutes and 15 seconds.
So that's the one that I saw. I wonder, so that, wait, what year was that?
2017.
2017. Well, Roman was a good guy at that point. Was that the bad guy at that point?
Must have been.
I don't know. There was an asterisk there, like story-wise anyways. Ryan Armstrong says, I know you guys will be watching Night of Champions Saturday. What premium live event will you be investing in watching Sunday? Double or Nothing or NXT Battlegrounds?
Oh, Double or Nothing, yeah.
Our watch along is going to be for Double or Nothing there, yeah. Battlegrounds is a good. It's a good card though, man. That Ilya, I'm looking for the Ilya Dijak match is going to be.
Oh, that's going to be. They're going to beat the hell out of each other.
They really are. That's
going to absolutely beat the hell out of each other. Roman also beat Seth a lot in dark matches and house shows, but does it happen on TV? Does it really count?
Oh, that doesn't count. That didn't really happen. Yeah. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Eddie Brock's Venom. Says, with how much AEW copies from WCW, be it pay-per-views or the font and style from Nitro, could WWE take legal action over copyright, seeing WWE bought WCW and all of its intellectual property? God damn it. Let's sue them.
So what? Bash at the Beach, is that?
That's
AEW
NXT.
Bash at the Beach. But that's NXT, that's right.
NXT does that, yeah.
Let's try to think what
Beach
WCW.
Break. Wasn't Beach Break?
Yeah, it was Beach Break. That's
what they did,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, dude, look, clearly they toe the line. Like, I firmly believe that they probably have a decent legal team that will let them know, okay, this is going too far. It's not like Collision is the font of Nitro.
No.
It just aesthetically looks similar to it. And I would imagine that understanding full well that they're trying to occupy the in the hearts and minds of wrestling fans, the territory that WCW once held.
Yeah.
Their legal team probably is cognizant of that, and they're like, no, this, you can't do this, but you can do this,
Yeah.
to keep it on firm legal.
I mean, the references that AEW does now is akin to killer tracks versions of popular songs. There's enough of a reference that you get the reference,
right? Yeah,
but in most cases, it's not so direct of a reference that it sounds identical to the original.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I can't even think of anything that they have done that's really been, because I know, didn't they try to, like, I don't know, I thought they tried to trademark something that was actually WCW or NWA WCW.
I thought they were trying to do something with, so War Games, like the nickname of it was the Match Beyond. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They were trying to do something with that.
I thought they were trying. I remember that too. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's something that Cody just referenced, or if it was actually something they were trying to trademark or use for the name of Blood and Guts.
I feel like Cody was. It seemed like Cody might have been trying to sort of get the trademarks that his dad were involved. Trademarks of things his dad was involved with the creation of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're probably on pretty firm ground.
Yeah, you'd think so. Jonathan Vieira here asked, did SmackDown still build guys up against Roman with the crowd, knowing that he won't lose anytime soon?
Yeah, I think they've successfully done that several times, and maybe at this point it's like a fool me once situation, because like with Drew McIntyre, we're like, oh man. But Cody losing at Mania, did that change it in your mind? Like, oh, nope, foregone conclusion, everything now until Mania. Yeah,
pretty much. But that being said, you could still build up people to feud against Roman, because what it could do is whoever Roman feuds with, how does that alter the dynamics within the bloodline? That's really the story, is coming up with ways. It's one thing to put, I'll just say LA Knight, just because the first name popped in my head, in a feud against Roman Reigns. Yeah. LA Knight's not going to beat Roman at this juncture. But how is LA Knight going to affect the dynamic within the group of the bloodline? Yeah. And especially the interesting thing about LA Knight is how he's going to no-sell everything that Roman says, like he did with Bray Wyatt.
I know.
2 for 1 special.
For one special, yeah.
So I mean, like, even feuding with Roman Reigns would help elevate LA Knight, because right now he's like the most popular depth guy in the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So having him feud in the main event segment, that's huge for him. That elevates him, even in defeat. But the issue is keeping that momentum going after that feud is over.
The biggest challenge, because I think you're right, the biggest challenge is then going to be, how do you make his challenger not come off like a bystander, like a secondary story in what should be the main story? Because right now, the most interesting thing about the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn storyline with the bloodline is how it's affecting the Usos and Roman and Solo. And I have no idea. I'm pretty sure the Usos are going to end up costing Roman and Solo those tag titles. But that's the intrigue. It ain't nothing Sami and Kevin Owens are doing. The intrigue, and Sami's been really good at sort of, needling Roman. Yeah. But the intrigue is, as always, within the bloodline. Now, the biggest challenge is going to be, it's not even going to be, can they make somebody legitimate against Roman? It's going to be, like you said, how is it going to affect the bloodline? And how do you make that be on par with the story of the challenger as well?
Well, here's the thing that you can do. And they did this with Cody, is how does this individual affect the dynamics within the bloodline, and how can the challenger benefit from that change in dynamics?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And can they exploit the tensions within the bloodline to defeat Roman?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately they've done that, and every time, no, that's the answer. No. Because there's something that the person challenging the title hasn't accounted for. But I guess that's how you can keep the challenger from feeling like a bystander in that story. They can't just be like needling the bloodline and sitting on the sidelines. They have to take advantage of the tensions.
Growth.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I do think it's going to be an interesting challenge for them to, because I don't know, what do we got coming up? We got Money in the Bank. I don't know. Is Roman even going to fight at Money in the Bank, or is Money in the Bank just a thing there?
The rumor that was going around was that Roman and Solo were going to take on the Usos at Money in the Bank.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. And then after Money in the Bank, you got SummerSlam, right? Because Money in the Bank is July. Yep. Then you got SummerSlam. That's going to be a big, if they might, if they do they're not going to be able to. Well, if Cody wins Money in the Bank, he could declare for SummerSlam. In which case, I don't know. I'd have a really hard time thinking that Cody's going to win there at SummerSlam. But I feel like Cody's the kind of guy who they could convince me that it could happen.
Yeah.
I think that they could probably convince me that it could happen.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially because you think about the other stuff. It's like, well, at some point, Roman's going to want to take. I know, his dates he's got the tribal chief set up, but still, you would think that he'd want to take a little bit of time away. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe the tribal chief setup is good enough.
That could be. I mean, he works 3-4 days a month.
Yeah,
if that.
Yeah, that's a good.
Not a bad deal. Maybe a handful of house shows too.
For a lot of money. Nobody else gets that set up.
You got that right. Before we get to the next question from Neat Kyle, if you're watching here on YouTube, whether it be live or on demand, if you could, hit that like button.
Oh, yeah.
We're new to this whole podcasting YouTube thing. We hear it's good when people like your video.
There's a little thumbs up thing there. If you click on that, apparently it helps us.
Good things happen. Good things happen. Also, we hear good things happen if you hit the subscribe and notify bell after you subscribe. Good things happen. Good things. Maybe you'll get to watch you'll get a notification when we have a new episode or something like that. We hear that's what happens.
Yeah. Maggie bringing up the tribal chief setup, of course, reminding Maggie that setup is not for Seth Rollins. He would love it. He would want that. It's not for him, though. That's the problem. The problem is it's not for him.
Not for him, apparently, according to the tribal chief. Nikal here asks, how much of an impact on wrestling has Fightful, Wrestling Observer, etc. had on the industry and our expectations of future events?
Oh, man, I don't know. I feel like it hasn't been. Do you feel like it's significantly changed over the past? Dude, you and I 20 plus years ago, we were looking at scoops.net. It's funny, we never looked at the Wrestling Observer. We were we want the free one that gives no good information.
Back then, it was predominantly, he sent the newsletter through the mail, I think, back in the late 90s, I think.
I'm kind of surprised none of us went ahead and pulled the trigger on getting a subscription.
If I knew who Dave Meltzer was in 1997.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
But yeah, I don't know, man. We used to look at all that stuff back in the day, and it would sort of mold, because it was so interesting. It would sort of mold our viewing experience as well. I'm sure it's sort of changed, and maybe has become more, more of a molding thing since then, because it is so much easier to get that info now, and Fightful, especially these days, has a pretty good track record. But I don't know. I feel like with the product is there. If you want to watch it and tune out of social media, you could do that. It's not a difficult thing to do. If you're interested in it, and you want to tune into the social media aspect of things, you can do that.
Yep. And I don't know what percentage of the wrestling's viewing audience pays that much attention to the behind the scenes news aspect of it. I just don't know. If you have an arena full of people at a WWE show or an AEW show or an Impact show, whatever, what percentage of people sitting there actively read on a daily basis wrestling news and keep up to date with it? I just don't know. Yeah. If it's 50%, well, that's half the audience that isn't having anything spoiled for them. It's interesting because I think even going back to at least 2012, where WWE seemed to take at times a different approach to surprises, because when 2012, when Brock came back, it was tweeted about before he showed up on TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times, they'll promote returns in an effort to get people to watch, as opposed to have someone return and get people talking about it, and then the follow-up maybe get the viewership.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I don't know if that has anything to do with wrestling news outlets, potentially reporting on spoilers. If WB and for that matter, any company thinks, well, let's get out in front of this, we'll report on it and get the viewership and then get the scoop before the wrestling news sites do.
Yeah. I can't stand when WWE does that. It's a weird thing where it's like, I'm totally fine when, when Meltzer or Sean Ross Sapp reports on it. It's like, oh, they might be coming back, because there's always the idea that, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they going to come back? That's usually how it's framed in my mind, is like,
yeah,
Fightful reports on it, but really, is it going to happen? Things change all the time. When it's WWE doing it, well, now they're committed to it. Yeah. Now it's part of their story, and it's kind of silly, because it's like, don't you want to surprise us? Even if Fightful and Meltzer have already spoiled it, that might not happen.
Yeah,
but if
and
WWE,
then what percentage of the audience was it spoiled for?
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. David Matushek here asks, since there are 2 major events happening this weekend, will you 2 do a compare and contrast of star ratings when the Observer drops next week? Yes.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
We're going to continue reacting now to the Observer star ratings, because it's so much fun.
Are we going to do, because as Mr. Dope says, without Meltzer, who would tell us what a good match is?
Yeah.
Well, I have the answer, because aren't we going to introduce our own star rating?
We are.
Yeah, we're going to start doing that as a video, because we're always trying to figure out, okay, how best do we approach short form content over at Friendo Club Wrestling when it comes to talking about pay-per-views and stuff, because obviously it's a podcast, but that's where the short form stuff is. And we tried to do like the good, bad, and ugly thing. It just doesn't really, there's not really much interest, but people love when you rate things.
Exactly.
So
that generates conversation,
engagement, a lot of toxicity, negativity. We love that. That's always
no, we don't.
For engagement. No, we don't like that.
No,
that's right.
I don't like any of that. No, thank you.
We're the positive guys over here.
Positivity is what.
Positivity. Oh man, Mr. Pedlord, star ratings plus.
Done.
It's done. Star
ratings plus. There you
go. Ratings plus. Yeah. Star plus.
Wrestling ratings at scale. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What's the next question?
That'll be a regular part of what we do. Patrick Sparks, B-Man here, asks, come 2030, where do you see companies being in the landscape of wrestling? For example, what changes will be different WWE? How is AEW still going to be considered competition? What will New Japan Stardom be? Will Impact still be a company? First of all, you never count Impact out. I thought they would have gone out of business 10 years ago. Didn't happen. Still around.
Impact's
providing good content.
They're on the upswing. I think I saw like their ratings, like even their TV ratings are on the upswing.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, no, it's great. And obviously their attendance is on the upswing. Mm-hmm. So no, I would not count out Impact at any time. As far as WWE, I guess the interesting thing is going to be, is Vince going to be around in 7 years in the High Castle, or is it going to be a combination of Triple H and HBK, running creative? That'll be interesting to see. AEW, I mean, if they're about to get a big TV deal, I think financially speaking, they're going to have no problem sticking around. Yeah,
I guess the question about AEW is, can they take those 800,000 viewers on a weekly basis and start to build on that number? Or if in 6-7 years' time, if they're still around 800,000,
yeah,
I mean, they at that point they've been in the business for about 10 years, so it's not a failure, but as a business, you want to continue to build and grow, and if they're having trouble building and growing,
yeah, well,
that could be an issue.
Like, I don't like. Yeah, I really don't know, because like you'd think that the general trajectory with like TV ratings, generally speaking, is down anyways.
Yeah.
Because of how people consume. Is there going to be within 7 years? Is there going to be a different metric that's used because of how quickly the digital media landscape is changing? I mean, obviously, Warner Brothers Discovery seems to like what they're doing.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't they, if they see what AEW is doing as positive, then yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like AEW is built on a house of cards.
No, I don't either.
Sometimes there are things that like make it feel that way, but I really don't think that they are. So, I mean, if you look at their pay-per-view revenue, it still seems to be really strong from a business standpoint. Like, they seem to be doing fine.
I mean, the only metric that is not the best as far as I can tell with AEW is their show attendance.
Yeah,
and part of that could be because they hit the same markets too often. That could be part of it.
That could be.
You know, like for example, with the Collision dates, you got Toronto, which you got Forbidden Door, and you got a Collision, I think, back to back, and then you got Hamilton, Ontario, which is like just an hour away from Toronto, has a show as well. That's 3 shows in roughly the same market over the span of like a week.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that's probably too much.
Yeah, and your product just isn't hot enough to sustain that right now. If this was WWF in 1998, then maybe you could pull that off. But, you know, it ain't.
Nope.
But you know, with all things in wrestling, there's ebbs and flows. You know, there's peaks and valleys, and maybe AEW is going through a bit of a valley right now. And they with the arrival, the return, the second coming, my God, of CM Punk. Oh my goodness, we're up for a high peak coming soon.
Is this going to top like Prime Cody in AEW potentially?
It's going to top presidential debates.
Wow.
Oh man!
Wow.
Prime Cody, yeah, exactly.
This lightning round, some questions. We got a lot of questions this week, so we'll see if we can get through a good number of these.
Yeah.
Kiddo Hudson asks, if each member of Judgment Day were a cereal, what cereal would they be?
Oh my goodness gracious! I don't know. I don't know. That's too much.
It's too much?
That's too much.
All right, who's
Finn Balor is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
Dom is Grape Nuts because everybody boos that cereal.
Yeah, then once you eat grape nuts, it could be an irritant in your insides, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. It keeps you on the toilet. Rhea Ripley is life.
Yes.
She's life, man. Oh, boy. And then Damian Priest. What is Damian Priest?
He's shredded wheat. Heavy. The bass in his voice, heavy.
Okay, sure. Why
Has
not?
presence.
Yeah.
Not even frosted mini wheat, shredded wheat.
That was hard.
That was hard. I thought the musical instruments question about Judgment Day was tough.
No, I like that one because I got to just pass it over to you.
Yeah, I know. There's only so many instruments. It seems like there's almost infinite number of cereal. DJ Mott here asks, if you guys were asked to help WWE develop their own Disney-style theme park, who or what would you theme your opening day attractions after? It'd be Undertaker's last ride. It'd be a roller coaster. That's easy.
That's good, yeah.
You do Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but instead it's all Judgment Day themed.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. What would be the John Cena ride? Yeah, I know. Well, I don't. Okay, John Cena took Flair's record, I guess.
Yeah.
So the Splash Mountain, right? Space Mountain.
Space
what did
Mountain.
he do?
Yeah. Space Mountain. Yeah.
Okay.
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain.
But how would you make that?
Is Splash Mountain a thing?
Yeah, that's a ride at Disneyland too.
Okay, good.
But Space Mountain was Ric Flair's thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But how would you make that focused on John Cena? Cena Mountain?
Hustle, loyalty, respect mountain.
All right. That's fine. Good cop, bad cop here asks, who do you think will challenge for the AEW Championship following Double or Nothing? That all in or all out? Chug's well before the end of the year.
Chug's gonna be in there. Yeah. Chug's gonna be in there. They should do Malachi.
Yeah.
They should drop those titles to the Acclaimed and have Malachi go solo. I don't think that's gonna happen. But
no, I don't think so either.
They should.
I don't think so either. They should though.
Yeah.
Deep Voice Dudes here says, with the Nuggets sweeping the Lakers, Dynamite tonight will have way less competition. I don't think there's no NBA tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know about hockey. Do you think this will affect Tony Khan's plans? This is a go-home show to pay-per-view, so he really should load it up anyways.
Yeah, they're gonna do like 1.5 million tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Could be. Could be.
It's gonna be huge.
Could be. Zyshawn Moore, if you could design a T-shirt for any wrestler or faction, what would it look like?
I would really want to try my hand at a Judgment Day shirt.
Yeah.
And I just try to make it the most metal shit I possibly could with tons of purple and white on it on a black shirt. Yeah. I don't even know what that would be. You know, all sorts of cool like lightning bolts and metal things like swords.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it'd be awesome.
I think it'd be fun to do a New Day shirt because Maggie says one word, Volt.
Oh, New Day in the Vault.
Bright colors.
Well, Riddle right now rocks the Vault. So would you do like a Riddle shirt?
No chance.
No,
not gonna happen. No, no,
never.
Nope.
No.
Adam Bolt asked if wrestling was a shoot, who would be the world champions in AEW and WWE? I think in WWE, it's pretty obvious it'd probably be Brock Lesnar. It'd be Brock or Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. Chad Gable might have a chance.
Yeah.
I think Chad Gable might have a
good
chance.
Answer. Yeah, Chad's a good answer.
Who else is a shoot? Was Damon Kemp legit? Was he all right?
He was a collegiate wrestler, yeah.
Was he good? Like, was he like obviously not as good as his brother?
Yeah.
But maybe him might have a chance. I don't know. Any of those legit guys. Shinsuke did MMA.
Yeah, he did MMA, yeah.
So maybe Shinsuke.
Yeah. In AEW, would it be Jake Hager?
Is possible. I don't know. They gave him so many lumps.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Malachi trains.
Yeah.
I
think Kenny used to train MMA before he went to pro wrestling.
Oh, Deshaun has a good point. Riddle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Riddle was good in UFC.
Didn't he still have like the best takedown percentage or something like that?
I don't know, but I know he
was up
good.
There.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Tyler Homer says Punk.
I'll never forget watching that first fight. He just sprints right towards Mickey Gall and gets taken down immediately. Oh my gosh.
He just ran right into that punch.
He just ran right into him.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Jake here asked, what matches are you most looking forward to this weekend? Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite.
Yeah. Jack versus Ilya.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch that live, but I'll watch it after the fact. I'm curious to see what they're going to... I think they're going to do the Bianca goes blind from the mist and hits a KOD still
thing. That could be.
And if they do that, then I'll be happy because I predicted it.
Yeah, that would be a good spot. Seth and AJ will be really good.
That'll be a really good match. I'm curious to see how that tag match is going to go. The Bloodline and Owens and Zayn, yeah. And then I don't know what to think about the Lesnar Cody thing. It's going to be a goof fest, but I'm going to like it probably.
How do you know if it's going to be a match, man?
Yeah, I have no idea. No clue.
Joel Tapia asked, what do you guys love about Triple Mania that makes you guys watch it every year?
There is a unique energy that AAA brings, and it's a combination of like really going... It's like the most bizarre combination of having just having so much fun with your product, but at the same time taking certain things very seriously. And there's a great dash of absurdity, and then just the general culture of it all is just something that I love to take in. Yeah. So yeah, it's all that. It's hard.
And also we're so used to certain conventions and tropes, especially of WWE's product, and AAA doesn't necessarily follow all those conventions and all those tropes. Yeah. And so we're expecting something and we get something different, and it's great and surprising and usually a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's another aspect of why it's just an absolute blast.
And we don't follow it like on a regular basis. So it's like, oh man, where was this guy? One of my favorite things to do like with wrestling is to go back to like some random ass years and just, watch something old and be like, wait, where was everybody back then? Well, AAA is kind of like, because we follow the product on a weekly basis, AAA sort of gives us that like, okay, we haven't seen it for a while. Where is it now? And I love that aspect of it. Pagano and Chess Band, they're teaming up. Oh, now they're in a death feud. Yeah. Now they're teaming up again. You
know? Jason Dwyer asked, do you guys have a favorite guilty pleasure wrestler not named Sid? Oh, for you, it's Rick Boogs right now, isn't it?
Yeah, Rick Boogs is great. But really, it's just everything but his wrestling. His wrestling's pretty funny, too, though, because he just, like, works out during the match with people. Using people. Yeah, Boogs is a good answer. LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight, kind of the obvious answer.
LA Knight's kind of the answer. Dijak, yeah, Maggie's got it. Honestly, like a lot of NXT is like a guilty pleasure for me. Yeah.
Patrick Cheeseman here says, if it were possible, would you be interested in an end of an era style match between John Cena, Edge, and Randy Orton?
They're all, I mean, like end of an era was great and everything, but like those guys are so far over the hill in terms of their wrestling days. I don't know, it just wouldn't do much for me. There was something about the 4-year build to the end of an era that was just special.
Yep.
And the history that all those guys had with each other. I know Cena and Orton and Edge, they all have history together, but like you'd have to manufacture something over the period of 4 years. Like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really. And you have the Undertaker streak on top of that.
Yeah, there's a
very
lot.
special
there was
WrestleMania
a lot going
thing.
into an era. I know.
Yeah.
Alex Rivera asks, every member of Judgment Day have different wings behind them when they come out by themselves. What will J.D. McDonough's wings look like? And what would Von Wagner's wings look like if he were to join Judgment Day?
J.D. McDonough. I don't know. I don't want to say something rude. This is forward to Von Wagner.
All right.
Von Wagner's would be like that baby picture. These would be like a bunch of scars, like it's all like wrapped together with duct tape and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. 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 Mr. Dope, I'm not gonna say that, but that's what I was thinking too.
Let's see here. What more we haven't answered?
Mayor Plenty says Von Wagner's is two garbage bags, two big hefty garbage bags.
Let me go to the Patreon and see if there's something.
DJE says Vaughn would have boneless wings. It'd be Wingstop.
Oh my gosh. Alex Foster, what wrestling moments in the past several years would you like to have experienced with no internet rumors or spoilers circulating?
I'd be so confused by the CM Punk stuff.
Yeah.
If, like, I didn't know anything about the rumors and everything.
He's gone. Now he's back.
Like, the first dance. What does that mean? Oh, no. I'm talking about like when he came back.
Gotcha.
The first dance. Why are they talking about? That's weird. But like I didn't know anything about CM Punk coming back. But yeah, even like repeat that one because also our stream dropped out. Could you repeat that last question?
Sure. WrestleMania 40, Cody has finished the story. Does WrestleMania 39's main event still leave a bad taste in your mouth?
No. And in fact, it doesn't right now. Like I think that they did the right thing there. I really do. I think that was a smart move.
Steve's come around to it.
I have. Yeah. I think in retrospect, when you look back at it, Cody and his thing with Brock Lesnar right now. Look, man, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, maybe my favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin, said he'd have felt Cody's win at 39 would have been cliche, been too clean. Not enough adversity. I don't think he said the adversity thing, but he said it would be cliche. It was too easy. So, yeah.
Too easy, yeah.
I'm with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold and I agreed on that.
Yeah.
Yellow Flash asks, should Rampage merge with Collision?
Yeah, you can get rid of Rampage, sure. They're not going to.
Yeah, they're not going to, but you could.
But yeah, sure, why not? Get rid of it.
Justin Sider.
Yeah.
What is the best place to buy your merch? Is it better for you to buy the new stuff, or do you still get... Oh, to buy our merch. Okay, sorry. What's the best place to buy our merch?
Probably like friendomerch.com. I don't care what. Look, our merch has been spread out across a bunch of different shops. We have our pro wrestling tee shop for our old stuff. We still get paid. I mean, if you buy stuff from there, we still get paid for it.
Yeah.
I don't know like what the status is on like Friendo, whatever the last Friendo thing was, but Friendo shop is what we have now.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if Friendo merch is still a thing. Let me check.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. We get paid. We get like anything that's up, we get paid for.
Yeah. Frozen Tape. Which wrestler from any era would you all like to be taught by? Any wrestler, any era. Who would you want to be taught?
Be taught by?
The art of pro wrestling. Yes.
Oh, Terry Funk. Yeah.
Bryan
so
Danielson.
Friendo merch is still a thing. Friendomerch.com. That's still a thing. You can still get stuff.
Gotcha.
There. There's a Wrestle Fart shirt there.
Wow, I forgot there was a Wrestle Fart shirt.
Yeah, there's a Wrestle Fart shirt. It's a pretty good one.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson for me.
Is still there. Like that's probably not even legal. Yeah. Danielson, yeah, that's a good one.
We got a question here from Jason the Cabbie.
Oh, cool.
Says, no real question about Kurt stuff since I'm way behind on both shows. Just thought in light of recent events, I'd drop a line and let you know I'm alive and well, just very busy with 2 jobs. Now for actual question, with May 20th being the day, remember Randy Savage passing away. What is your favorite look/era of Macho Man, and what is his greatest match that's not against Ricky Steamboat?
Oh, man. You know what, man? I loved when he had the black and white NWO colors, but he still had like the Macho Man gear. I thought that looked so cool. Yeah,
his feud with DDP was great.
It was. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. So if a non-Steamboat match, I'd probably do one of his bouts against DDP.
Oh, Dallas, time to put you over. Oh yeah, you're gonna drop me with the diamond cutter. Oh yeah.
Sebastian Garcia, are there any going in Raw isms that you find yourself repeating outside of the show? JR's "Oh man" has been in my head for weeks.
Oh wow. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's our life. So like, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much anything that I say here on the show, I like say in real life.
Yeah.
Trying to think of one.
Stan here says, should the tag team titles be split?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah. You're UFO guy. What's one wrestling match you wish you could have seen live?
Bret Hart versus HBK, the Montreal Screwjob.
That's good.
That'd have been fascinating.
Good. That's good. End of an era. That'd been fun to see in that live.
That'd be awesome seeing that live, yeah. The TV direction on that was so good, though.
It was really good. Yeah, it's going to lose really a little bit by watching it live, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
The first match where it was at a predetermined finish.
Yeah, what circus was that at? You know?
Yeah, I know. Blake Whitehouse here asked, do you think AEW charging $50 for a pay-per-view in the U.S. does more harm than good? $50 can go a long way. I've had a hard time justifying spending that much on a one-time showing with a very lackluster build for 90% of the card. Hey, it sounds like it's a sound value proposition for you.
No,
there,
those are decisions you got to make, and that's on AEW to sell that pay-per-view to you so that you think it's a good value proposition. That's not a question that we can answer. That's a question you got to answer for yourself.
Yep. Yeah. And if someone is looking at the card, looking at the build, and doesn't see it as a good value proposition, by all means, don't spend the money.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not worth your while. No.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. That's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with our AEW Go Home Dynamite 2 Double or Nothing review. We'll be doing that live again. So thanks, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you there. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.